What's up, y'all? This is Hussein Nasser from iGeometry bringing you a new episode of Arc Object. Today we'll discuss recycling cursors versus non-recycling cursors. What is that supposed to mean? So we did discuss this topic, I think 2 years ago. Here, I'm going to reference that subject. It's just a theoretical episode. Very basic discussion of this topic, but just in a nutshell, when you try to open a table or you query a table in arc object or a feature class, you have to create something called a cursor, a search cursor or update cursor sometime, and that cursor you'll use it basically to iterate through the results, because when you want to open that cursor, you have to specify uh, an optional filter. It says, okay, give me all features that has the population greater than 200 or something, right? So you get a filter, or he says, okay, give me all features in this table, I don't care, right? So, and then you get a cursor, and using that cursor you will then iterate through all features, and then you'll iterate through all features, and then you get basically will get the results uh, at the end. So what is the purpose of this, right? So the purpose of all this is to have different kind of performances that we can get out of this. So the idea is, enough babbling and let's get started with some coding. So recycling cursors, there are two type of cursors that you can create in this case: recycling and non-recycling. As the name denotes, recycling means for each feature or row that you fetch, we're going to use the same memory location. And that will give us basically a speed up. And instead of I create different memory object for each feature or row, I'm going to use the same memory location, as opposed to the non-recycling, which allocates different memory location. So what's the benefits? What's the differences? Obviously, we're going to discuss it now. All right, so let's go ahead and write. In this episode, we're going to create a button class. We actually went ahead and created this project. I'm going to reference how to create a button here in ArcMap and to deal with all this stuff. So we created a button, and that button, when we click on that button, we will read a feature class which has million features, and then measure the time taken to process all these features. By process, we mean basically iterating through the results of these features. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm gonna write a function here. Let's write a function called public double get cursor get processing. I just call it process features, right? This thing takes a boolean, recycling, right? And in this function, I will return the time taken to process the whole thing. All right, so let's go ahead, do our thing here. Let's assume that the layer I'm trying to process is the first layer, because I'm lazy. Next document, bmarkdoc dot focus map dot layer sub 0 as I feature layer, pf layer, and all that, get that layer, that feature class dot Search. That's how you create the cursor to loop through all these results. All right. So search. For the query filter, that's the filter we talked about, right? I'm gonna pass in null, which means give me everything. And then for the recycling boolean, I'm gonna pass in the recycling variable there. And you're gonna know why in a second. P feature cursor, pf cursor. Now we got the cursor. Let's go ahead and loop through all these features. So I feature, p feature equal pf cursor dot next feature, and while the feature is not null, go ahead and fetch the next feature. And then just for fun, I'm gonna create a list of I feature, p features equal new list of I features, and I'm gonna add every single feature to this list. All right. So this is an array or a list of features, and as I process this feature, I'm gonna add them to this list. Okay, very simple. All right, so let's add the most important thing. I'm gonna create datetime current to measure the time taken to do the whole task. Date time dot now, just before and after. We're gonna return date time dot now minus current, the whole thing, dot total seconds. Let's say I'm gonna return the time in seconds, and I think that's it. So here I'll do double recycling time true, and you guessed it, right? I'm gonna do the non-recycling time that I'm gonna paste as false. Then I'm gonna do a very nice message box here. Love those. Recycling time or time to process with recycling cursor plus recycling time seconds. Then you add environment, a new line, time. Can I do this? Not sure. Time to process with non-recycling cursor equal what non-recycling, and then you say seconds. If that works, it goes nothing. Build. Then I created a project here, and then remember when we created those million features, we had an episode to create million feature. I'm going to reference it here. And we use that feature class, which is, in this case, we're going to test against a versioned. I'm going to test against a non-versioned feature class. Unversioned feature class, which is the fastest thing possible. Let's go ahead and add that, and you'll see as I add it, it's gonna process, and any second now. There you go. There it goes. Lots of features. Lots of features. I shouldn't have zoomed in. Wasted a lot of time. Beauty of ArcMap. You can just escape to cancel. So this is like a, just to show you that this is a million feature, so you don't say Hussein is lying. So there you go. 1 million feature. Let's see how long it's gonna take to process all this. All right. So this we're gonna do 2 loops. The first loop gonna do the recycling cursor. The second one and gonna do the non-recycling cursor and give you the time for both. Then let's just wait. All right, done. 5 seconds, almost 5 seconds to process million features with the recycling cursor. Almost more than double to process 1400. What? 14 to process million features with just 14 seconds, right? So what's the difference here? So keep this in mind, right? So this took longer, and you're gonna say, obviously, most of you have guessed that this is expectable, and the reason is this guy, this list. If you used this, is you have to be very careful when to use recycling versus non-recycling, because this could give you bad results if you're not careful. All right, so just explain this in 1 minute and we're gonna be done with it. All right, so this will have an array of features. If you use recycling, all these features will point to the last feature. In this case, all of these features, all of this list will be identical, because all of them will be pointing to the same memory location. And that's why you use recycling only when you want in the loop. You process this and you get rid of it. I don't care. Give me the next feature. Process it, be done with it. Don't store it. If you keep storing it, you can store certain information about the feature, not the geometry. You can clone it, which would be expensive, but you can store certain information about the feature that you're processing. But as you keep adding it as a whole feature, as an object, you're gonna lose it, right? But if you use the non-recycler cursor, which is more expensive, you have to wait more, but you get the whole features. You have access to the entire million features in this list, and you just paid what? Like an additional what? 9 seconds, I think. Yeah, around 9 seconds, and that's it. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's very short, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Have a great day.